17% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA this season targeted one player. Can you guess who's taking the heat? Caitlin Clark. The rookie sensation is getting roughed up on the court. But is it just tough play, a coincidence, or something more sinister? Let's talk about flagrant fouls for a second. They come in two flavors: flagrant 1, which is unnecessary contact, and flagrant 2, the unnecessary and excessive kind. Now picture this. Out of all the players in the league, one rookie is being the target more than anyone else.
Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
You might be thinking, hey, that's just how they welcome newcomers, right? But here's where it gets interesting. We're about to uncover a pattern that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about the WNBA's treatment of its rising star. Are you ready to see the game from a whole new angle? Before diving into the ugly truth, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Ready for that new angle? Let's talk numbers. Out of 144 players in the league, guess how many are responsible for most of Clark's flagrant fouls? The answer might make you rethink everything about rookie treatment in the WNBA. Meet Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever's rookie sensation who's been lighting up the scoreboard and breaking records left and right. But her impressive performance comes with a price tag. One that's paid in bruises and hard hits. Clark's been making waves, not just for her skill, but for the shocking number of flagrant fouls she's endured in her debut season.
I feel like I'm getting hammered. I don't know. I appreciate Christy getting a tech too. I don't know.
Now, you might think rookies always get a rough welcome, but Clark's situation is on another level. Out of 30 flagrant fouls in the entire league this season, a whopping 5 were against Clark alone. And this doesn't even include those controversial ones that the referees never called. That's right. One player out of 144 is taking nearly 17% of the league's hardest hits. By far the most targeted in the league. But wait, it gets even more interesting. Let's break it down further. Of those 5 flagrant fouls against Clark, 4 came from a single team. You read that right. 80% of the flagrant fouls against Clark were dished out by one squad. Who's the culprit? The Chicago Sky. It's like they've made roughing up the rookie their personal mission. But here's the thing, Clark isn't backing down. Despite the aggressive play, she's showing incredible resilience. In fact, she dropped a career-high 31 points against the Sky, the very team that seems to have it out for her. Talk about answering physicality with pure skill. Now, you might be wondering, is this just tough play? A coincidence? Well, the numbers tell a different story. Clark has been fouled 46 times this season, ranking 3rd in the league for most fouls received. So whether it's normal fouls or unnecessary fouls, she seems to be target numero uno. That's a lot of whistles for one rookie, especially when you consider she's often the focus of the opposing team's defense. The physicality of the game has sparked controversy, and Clark herself has commented on it. She said, "I think at this point I know I'm going to take a couple of hard shots a game, and that's what it is. But should any player, rookie or veteran, have to accept that kind of treatment as part of the game?" This situation has caught the attention of personalities outside the basketball world too. Comedian Rob Schneider didn't mince words when he described one of the flagrant fouls against Clark as assault. That's a strong word, but it reflects the growing concern about player safety in the league. The narrative around Clark's treatment has led to some serious discussions about the physicality of women's basketball. Are we seeing tough, competitive play, or is this crossing a line? And more importantly, is the league doing enough to protect its players, especially rising stars like Clark? Remember, we're not just talking about a few hard fouls here and there. We're looking at a pattern, one that seems to be disproportionately affecting one of the league's most exciting new talents. It's raising questions about intent, strategy, and the very nature of competition in professional sports. If you think Caitlin Clark is amazing, please remember to like this video and subscribe. This helps us bring more content to awesome viewers like you. Wouldn't you like that? Awesome. Now picture this, a single team responsible for 80% of the flagrant fouls against one player. Coincidence? Let's connect some dots that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about fair play in the WNBA. Remember that stat about the Chicago Sky dishing out 4 out of 5 flagrant fouls against Caitlin Clark? Well, it's time to zoom in on those incidents and see what they really tell us about the game. Let's start with the most recent clash. On August 30th, the Sky seemed to have Clark in their crosshairs. Not once, but twice in a single game, they crossed the line from tough defense to dangerous play. First up, Michaela Onyenwere decided Clark needed a flying lesson. The collision left Clark sprawled on the court, and the ref slapped Onyenwere with a flagrant 1 for not giving Clark landing space.
We'll take a look here. Does she give her landing space?
It doesn't look like she does to me, and the actual call of that is a reckless closeout.
But wait, there's more. Just when you thought it was safe to go back on the court, Diamond DeShields decided to get in on the action. Clark had just stolen the ball when, bam, DeShields knocked her down. Another flagrant 1.
The Chicago Sky here from Wintrust Arena. The Fever have really stretched out this one.
2 flagrant fouls in one game, both targeting the same player. Starting to see a pattern here? Let's not even get into the ones Angel Reese and Chennedy Carter did in the previous games. Fun fact, Carter is the league leader in flagrant fouls, a stat she shouldn't even be proud of. Now, you might be thinking, maybe it's just competitive spirit gone a bit too far. But when you look at the bigger picture, it starts to feel less like tough play and more like a deliberate strategy. The Sky's actions have sparked outrage beyond the basketball court. Take comedian Rob Schneider, for instance. He didn't mince words when he saw one of these fouls, calling it straight-up assault. That's a heavy accusation, but it shows just how shocking these incidents look to people outside the sport. And it's not just comedians sounding the alarm. Dave Portnoy, known for his outspoken takes, has been vocal about the need to protect Clark. He's criticized the league for failing to shield her from these aggressive plays. In his words, some players have the audacity to complain after fouling Clark. It's like they're playing the victim after being the aggressor.
Okay, by now I'm sure you've seen Skylar Diggins assault. Caitlin Clark after Indiana blew out Seattle.
But let's take a step back and look at what this means for the game. We're not just talking about a few hard knocks here and there. This is a rising star, fresh in the league, consistently being targeted with the most aggressive fouls allowed in the rulebook. It's raising serious questions about player safety and the integrity of the game. Clark's own coach, Christy Sides, and general manager Lynn Dunn aren't staying quiet. They've publicly called for action, saying, "There's a difference between tough defense and unnecessary targeting actions. It needs to stop." When team leadership is speaking out this strongly, you know the situation has gone beyond normal competitive play. So what are we looking at here? A coincidence? Unlikely. A conspiracy? That might be a stretch. But what's clear is a pattern of aggressive play that's disproportionately affecting one of the league's most exciting new talents. It's a strategy that's putting a star player at risk and potentially changing the way the game is played. The Clark situation is just scratching the surface. What if these flagrant fouls are exposing a crack in the WNBA's foundation? Let's zoom out and see why this aggressive play isn't just a Clark problem. It's a league-wide crisis waiting to explode. You might be thinking, okay, so one player's getting roughed up. That's basketball, right? Wrong. This goes way beyond Caitlin Clark. The flagrant foul fiasco we're seeing is like a neon sign flashing danger for the entire WNBA. Here's the thing. When a league can't protect its stars, it's got a serious problem on its hands. We're not just talking about bruises and bumps here. This is about the future of women's basketball. The WNBA's failure to address this aggressive play is a train wreck just waiting to happen. Let's break it down. When players like Clark are constantly targeted, it's not just their game that suffers, it's the whole league. Think about it. Would you want to watch a sport where the best players are getting knocked around like pinballs? Probably not. And that's exactly what the WNBA is risking right now. But wait, it gets worse. This isn't just about entertainment value. We're talking serious injury risks here. Every time a player takes a hard hit, they're one step closer to a career-ending injury. And for a league that's still growing, losing star power to unnecessary roughness is like shooting yourself in the foot. Now, you might be wondering, why isn't the league doing something about this? Good question. It's not like they don't know what's happening. Clark's coach and general manager have been shouting from the rooftops about this. They're calling for action, saying there's a big difference between tough defense and targeting players. But so far, it seems like their words are falling on deaf ears. This silence from the league office? It's louder than any whistle on the court. It's sending a message that this kind of play is okay. And that's a dangerous game to play. Because once you open that door, it's hard to close it again. Let's talk about integrity for a second. Basketball is supposed to be about skill, strategy, and athleticism, not who can dish out the hardest hits without getting caught. When flagrant fouls become a strategy rather than a penalty, we're not watching basketball anymore. We're watching something else entirely.
What I don't get is the Seattle coach here is the one complaining after the game, and Skylar, tears in her eyes, being like, how dare Caitlin embarrass me? How dare they beat us by 30?
And it's not just the players who are noticing. Remember Dave Portnoy? He's been vocal about the league's failure to protect Clark. But he's not just talking about one player. He's pointing out a systemic problem. When outsiders start calling out your league for player safety issues, you know you've got a PR nightmare on your hands. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about the present, it's about the future of the WNBA. Think about the young girls watching these games. What message are we sending them? That if you want to play professional basketball, you've got to be ready to take a beating. That's not exactly the kind of inspiration we want for the next generation of players. And let's not forget about the fans. Basketball lovers tune in to see amazing plays, clutch shots, and unbelievable athleticism. They don't want to see their favorite players getting knocked around like they're in a street fight. If this keeps up, the WNBA might find itself losing fans faster than a player loses the ball on a turnover. So, what's the solution? Well, that's the million-dollar question. The league needs to step up, and fast. They need clear rules, consistent enforcement, and serious consequences for players who cross the line. Because right now, the message they're sending is that it's open season on star players. Let's wrap this up. We've seen Caitlin Clark targeted with flagrant fouls, the Chicago Sky's aggressive play, and the WNBA's failure to protect its stars. It's not just about one player. It's about the future of women's basketball. But here's the thing, you've got power too. Your voice matters. When fans speak up, leagues listen. So what are you going to do about it? Will you tweet, post, or comment about this issue? Maybe reach out to the WNBA directly? Think about it. Every time you watch a game where players are getting roughed up unfairly, you're seeing the problem firsthand. So here's the big question. Will you sit back and watch, or will you stand up for fair play in women's basketball? The ball's in your court now. Are you ready to defend the fever? Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe so you never miss out on the latest news. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.